The site behind the parade beach.
Whoop, look out, that's soft there. If you jump across here, you'll be all right. Good.
Chicks need a body weight approaching a kilo to survive at sea. And without it, they're stuck on the island.
And the weight is 750.
I'd like to see it near 1,000.
And another dead one, very small dead one here.
Above 27 degrees, penguins burn energy just to stay cool. But it's already 35 degrees and these underfed birds don't have fat reserves to spare.
There's one live there and 2 dead. I don't think I've seen so many that look to be heat-stressed before as this.
It's no longer hunger that's the big killer. Now it's the heat as well.
There's a penguin in here.
The team is not supposed to intervene, but this bird is unable to crawl back under cover and is suffering too much for one young ranger. If she can just get its body temperature down somehow, it may yet live. The 7-week-old chick is already recovering. But his bony little body means he won't survive without immediate medical care. Will the busy hospital have room for one more overheated penguin chick? In conditions like these, it's first in, first served.
Hello.
Hey, mate.
Even off-duty rangers have come in to help with the influx of heat-stricken animals.
We have an overheated, very small penguin here.
Just underweight one.
Well, overheated, I think. Also very white, so quite possible.
This is apparently the most penguins that we've ever had in the hospital. Yeah. Yesterday there were about 40. We lost a few last night. I think we're around between 35 and 40 penguins. So that's a lot.
And you can see there that the flippers are stretched out and its little legs are facing out backwards, which is not a good sign.
First, emergency hydration. Then, straight to the cool room to get that body temperature down.
Nice spot for it in with the fruit and veggies. That'd be lucky, maybe 400 grams. Write a note on my desk, don't forget the penguin in the cool room.
With so many penguin patients, they've used all the colours for identity tags.
We have to actually record what medicines they have and how much they eat. So we use these little different coloured ribbons. Right? And we've got that many birds at the moment that we're running out of combinations. Jan's the smartest here by a long way, so she's going to have to decide which colours.
She's one of, this sounds awful, she's one of the ones that died this morning.
That's what I think. Very morbid.
After a couple of hours, the refrigerated chick is let out into the penguin ward. That's one thoroughly chilled out penguin. Marg Healy now takes over his care.
Squeak, squeak. You poor little bugger. Come on.
They've picked out a colour for him.
Mauve.
He's now known simply as Mauve.
Just a 560. This chick is so thin. And this noise is a starving chick noise. But hopefully we can fix it. Penguins don't drink for themselves. They get all their fluid from food, so if they're not eating well, they dehydrate very quickly.
Mauve can't possibly survive in the wild in his undernourished state. His only hope is if Marg can build up his body weight. That means force-feeding him 5 or 6 sardines twice a day.
I'd give him over a 50% chance now that he's turned the corner a bit.
There's a pool for rehabilitating penguins. Mauve will get his first swim here, but not till he is a bit bigger and his feathers are waterproof. If he makes it, he'll be put back in a nest box near where he was found. Hopefully then he'll be strong enough to head out to sea. Still no break in the heat wave. In fact, it just keeps getting hotter. By 2:35 p.m, the temperature in Melbourne, only 70 kilometres away as the crow flies, hits 46.4 degrees. At that moment, there is nowhere hotter on the planet. Bushfires are raging across the state of Victoria. The day will later be known as Black Saturday, when 173 human and thousands of animal lives were lost. Unfortunately for Sammy, his burrow is more exposed than most. Now he's started to hyperventilate, the last stage before a penguin collapses. If he can only make it to nightfall, when the temperature should drop a bit. Stan and Sparky, the two chicks under the holiday house, are much better off with good shelter from the sun. They spend the day tucked well away under the Wagner's downstairs laundry. In the hospital, it's not just penguins struggling, but animals you'd normally expect to be able to cope with extreme heat. Mark tries to hydrate a baby possum. He's fallen from his mother's pouch and was found staggering on the beach.
You're not going to help, are you, sweetheart? I know, it's not fun. Come on, sweetheart, work with me. That's right. That's right.
In 2 hours, the penguin parade opens for tourists. But right now, the heat seems to have brought deathly quiet. Just when the horror day is nearly over, someone reports another penguin casualty. A full-grown adult this time. In a desperate attempt to reach water, he went the wrong way and ended up outside the tourist centre. At 5 p.m. on a Saturday, it's going to be hard to find anyone to help.
There's a penguin out the back here that's not looking very well.
Look at that. He can't even get up and walk. Oh, God.
He's just a bit posh.
That's not our chick, is it?
No, it's an adult. Oh, mate, you are buggered.
It's too far to take him back down to the sea. They do their best to cool him in the staff room till a senior ranger takes more drastic action.
No, he's nearly dead. Okay. Carol, can you grab me the key, please, mate? This bird's about to die.
Ranger Rebecca Overeem knows what this penguin needs most is a drink, which means getting the hydration equipment from the hospital, now closed for the night.
This is like a sports drink for animals.
Are you with this?
No. No. No, we lost him.
But it's too late. Rebecca can't save him. Once they've ventured out of their burrows in searing heat like this, 9 out of 10 won't make it. An evening sea breeze brings a welcome cool to Phillip Island. The first busload of tourists has arrived for the penguin parade. They drive right past Sammy's burrow. Amazingly, he is still alive. Sammy has survived the hottest day in living memory. But if his parents don't come to feed him soon, he'll have to risk going to sea and finding food himself. A week later, the heat wave is past, and Mauve is now 1.3 kilograms. Marg has fattened him up enough to have a chance in the wild, and his first swim.
As soon as they get their head under, they suddenly go, oh, my life is complete. They often just circle the pool for hours on end. I mean, it must be like from, I don't know, riding a push bike to riding a Grand Prix motorbike in some ways. He's a really good weight and he knows how to swim. And so I'm thinking, yeah, he'll work it all out. Okay.
It's his last day of accommodation, with breakfast included. In a few moments, he'll be released near where he was found. Mauve swaps his ribbon for a microchip to track his movements.
Beautiful.
And gets a new name.
There you go. It's very boring. It's 6C9729D.
Probably absolutely terrified, a kind of now what? Nobody home? Perfect. Okay, sweetie. Hello, penguin again. Now, the ocean's that way, okay? This is where you're living now, and hopefully you'll come back to here, not the hospital. Okay? Concentrate. Right. Stay in there. In you go.
With a bit of good sense, this time around he'll stay out of the sun. At least that's the theory.
It's one little obstacle to stop coming out during the daytime.
I'm thinking probably could see it. It's really hard. But I think it's just over there.
Meanwhile, Stan and Sparky wait for dark before emerging from their hideaway under the Wagner's beach house. By the time the Wagner kids have had dinner and turned in for the night, the chicks downstairs are getting ready for their parents to bring home another slap-up feed. Stan's flippers are now 10 centimetres long and quite ready for swimming. He really should be off feeding himself by now, not sponging off Mum and Dad. Though the brothers were born within a day of each other, Sparky's fluff shows he still has some growing to do. So, if a parent does come home tonight, it's important he gets some nutrition first. Sammy, too, waits near his burrow in the faint hope of one last feed. A well-fed female is one of the first ashore at the Parade Beach. Could this be Stan and Sparky's mum? Maybe even Sammy's? There's no time for a curtain call tonight. This mum joins the rush hour traffic to head straight to her chicks. It's 600 metres from here to the burrows, where the hungry kids are waiting. With fish in her stomach for some lucky chick, she shuffles through the car park, giving the coaches a wide berth. Patience doesn't come easy to young Sparky and Stan. Still no sign of food, and the two brothers are winding each other up. Nearly home, the returning mum turns onto the coast road. Just got to wait for the traffic leaving the parade. Sparky notices something at the bottom of the garden. It's his mum. The ensuing food fights are a nightly show for Karen Wagner.
Here comes the chicks out of the burrow and their mum to beat the rush.
Sparky gets in first. Stan immediately tries to elbow him out of the way. Not sure which is worse, penguins mating or penguins feeding.
As a parent, I don't know if I'd swim all day just to get their food to come back and have them harass me for the next 12 hours. Well, maybe children do that.
Further along the cliffs, plenty of adults stream by. But no one stops to feed Sammy. It seems his parents are never coming back. It's crunch time for Sammy. In the early hours of the morning, he takes the most important step of his life. He heads down to the water. He follows other penguins in the pre-dawn stampede to the beach. With no one to teach them to swim, chicks entering the water for the first time experiment with stroke techniques. It's now or never for Sammy. He takes one last look at the colony where he's spent his first 8 action-packed weeks. In just a few moments, he'll start a whole new life in Australia's Southern Ocean. It's turning into one of the toughest seasons ever on the island, and there's still a month of summer to go. Next on Penguin Island, new technology shows us just what penguins get up to out at sea. Perennial bachelor Rocky finally finds a mate. But should he be starting a family when late-season chicks rarely survive? And Marg gets her most difficult patient yet.
He's very lively, this guy.
He's just attacking everything.
We'll return to Penguin Island again next week. And on